Welcome to Climbing Together, the small business experience. I'm Beth Houtrow, founder of Climb the Small Business Book Club, and every episode I talk to a small business owner about a mistake that they've made and what they learned from the experience. Mistakes are inevitable, perfection's impossible, so let's embrace the mistake. And today we're so excited to welcome Shannon Carlton to the podcast. Shannon, tell us a little bit about you and your business.
Thanks, Beth. Well, like she said, my name is Shannon Carlton. I am the mother of two daughters. One is graduated from college. The other one is a junior in college. And I recently returned from a year-long road trip where when my little one went off to college, I left with her and spent a year on the road visiting Airbnbs with my dog and just returned back to Tampa, which is home. With my fiance, and I am a fractional COO, which means I help small businesses, solopreneurs by creating systems so that they can grow their business to where they want it to go.
That's amazing. The way you said it, did you find your fiance on the road trip, or was that already, you already had a fiance?
No, I actually met him. I owned a coworking space, which is one of the things I sold when I went on my trip, and he was one of my clients who walked in and needed an office.
That's awesome. Nice.
All
right. So we aren't here to talk about romance. We're here to talk about mistakes.
Okay.
So tell me about a mistake that you made with your business and what you learned from that.
So when I started the co-working space in Brandon, did a lot of research in advance, but didn't know anything about cash flow and what I needed to make it work. And so 4 years into the event or the business, I realized that cash flow was a serious problem for me and I needed to do something about it. So I gathered together my board of directors, which were basically the people that I knew that were the smartest in the room. They knew finance, they knew business, and they would be completely open and honest with all the things I had going on. I basically laid my soul bare, showed them all my numbers. Now, how do I make this work? And so they were my who to help me figure out how to make this business work and a viable business. So that was an amazing, I guess, adventure for me. I mean, the failure part and the mistake part were tough, but understanding that I had this group of people that could like come along and support me with no skin in the game, and they were willing to do that was incredible for me. And they helped. So I was able to cash flow from their suggestions.
Nice. And so what was there, like a diversification of your revenue streams, or what was it that they suggested that you should fix for the business?
So it was a co-working space, and I had a space that I had dedicated as a conference room. And they said, why? Like, let's make this a closed office. You can have more income from that. So I did that. There was another space that was not being utilized as well. So we did that, and also started adding some events so that after hours, people were able to come in and utilize this space. So it was just a brainstorming of ideas of different ways to utilize this amazing space and community in the area.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think a lot of people who have brick and mortar businesses don't always think about all the different ways they can use that space, right? If the fundamental business you'd originally designed isn't quite enough, what else can you do? What else can you add on to use that space as much as possible? So that's awesome. And rethinking, I mean, I understand why you have a conference room. Most co-working spaces do, but if it's not bringing in the revenue and people aren't really utilizing it, it's easy to kind of get trapped in the this was my original idea, so this is what I'm sticking with framework. Yep. So great, like you said, to bring in other brains, your board of directors, to help you kind of break out of what makes sense to you to see new visions. So that is very great advice. Yep. All right. So this is Climb the Small Business Book Club's podcast, and we are all about continual learning and community. And I know that you have a book that was really helpful for you as you were getting started. So what was that book?
Yep. So first of all, I love to read. I mostly listen now. I'm an Audible junkie. But the first book that I read when I started on my entrepreneurial journey, I guess, was Jack Canfield's Success Principles. I think there's 66 of them. I think the whole book is highlighted, and it has the dog ears, and it has all the sticky notes in it, and my notes and everything. So yeah, I probably read through that a couple of times, and I still refer back to it. And other books that I read reference stuff that I learned in that. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that, that I learned that. So I love that, taking little nuggets out of everything that you read, whether you completely agree with what it is or not. But that was a great book to get me started for sure.
Yeah. That's a great point too. Is sometimes we get books that are amazing and there might be like a handful of things in there that you're like, I don't know about that. Right. But that's not the point. The point isn't to be able to find the perfect book. It's to be able to find the book that you can get a lot out of, right? And can really inspire you and change you, even if you have to maybe you disagree about a few points of it. Because I've met people who are like, oh, well, I liked it, but XYZ I don't think is true. I'm like, all right, well, that's fine. Right. You can think XYZ is not
I
true and A, B,
on
C, D,
almost
E, F,
every book
G.
that I read,
Yeah.
yeah, and almost every book that I read now, I find that there's some things in there where I'm like, yeah, but then there's
Yeah.
some nuggets where you're like, oh yeah, this can definitely apply.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Okay. So our
Yep.
second question, right, is about community. You talked about this board of directors. Just generally, how have you built a community of other entrepreneurs and good thinkers around you to help support your business?
So the co-working space that I owned really lent itself to that, because everybody that came in was of that mind. Um, but I've met a lot of people, like, just through networking locally. But I've cultivated that a lot myself. I host vision board retreats, usually in January, for my small business owners and for women that are, looking to create that vision for their life. And through that, we've really created a community where we do business together, where we just love on each other, where we help each other. Um, and having that time to be able to come together and just go, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Or, oh my gosh, I had this amazing breakthrough. It's so helpful. And I think, especially, I mean, for men and women, but especially for women, because owning a business, having a family, having a life, like, we're supposed to have it all. And
Hmm.
to be able to talk to people where they're like, I can't do that. And you're like, no, okay, it's okay. um, and to have that help too. It's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that you said that you put together your own events because I talk to a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't know how to meet people in the events. I don't think they're right for me. I'm like, all right, well, host your own event, right? Figure out how you would best communicate and interact with people, and then host events that would work for you. And odds are pretty good they're going to work for other people who you will relate to well, and you're going to find, like you said, the right people to be in your
Yeah.
world and your community. So that's great advice. I don't
Well,
know if
and
you
the
meant
book
it as
club,
advice. Yeah.
yeah, no, and the book club that I joined with you, I mean, because everybody's all over the country, and we're learning together, and we're able to support each other. I think by you creating that, you've done that, which is, I appreciate it. I'm certainly
I
very glad to be
appreciate
a part
that.
of it.
Oh, good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, and I made the book club the way I made the book club because that's what I would want to do, right? I am better in small
Yep.
groups. I like reading books and really digging in and learning. And so it is not for everybody to read business books, and some people love the like giant bar full of people and you go around and talk to 100 different people. I don't. That's very stressful for
No.
me. So the book club suited me. And I was like, oh, I bet there's people out there who it will suit also. So I'm glad that it's really a good experience for you. But Shannon, that's
Yep.
our podcast today. Thanks so much for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
This podcast is brought to you by Climb the Small Business Book Club, where entrepreneurs go to learn, discuss, apply, and grow. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to subscribe at Apple, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, or follow us on Instagram at Climb Book Club. And always remember, mistakes are inevitable, perfection's impossible. So let's embrace the mistake.